Assistance dogs are undeniably beneficial for people with disabilities. Despite the need for assistance dogs for Queenslanders, access to air travel is complicated by legal confusion between state and federal levels, along with general misunderstandings. Accordingly, we wanted to find out, what do handlers' experiences indicate as an acceptable standard of access to air travel in Queensland? We found overarching issues with clarity, positioning flights as spaces which may eventually become accessible, but only after an unfair and unpredictable process. Our major findings may be broken into three themes: training, ease of accessibility, and staff perceptions of assistance dogs.
In regards to training, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority states that airlines need to comply with the Disability Discrimination Act, or the DDA, but that they can exercise discretion with state legislation too. As such, although training may look different for every handler-dog relationship, and the DDA validates numerous training approaches, airlines demand uniformity under Queensland's Guide, Hearing and Assistance Dog, or GAD certification, for easy access to commercial flights. Unfortunately, acquiring GAD accreditation is unbelievably difficult, with a lack of training flexibility, massive financial costs, and scarce availability. This barrier to air travel excludes many non-GAD handlers with equally well-trained assistance dogs. We found airlines failed to consider access standards for non-GAD assistance dogs. Evaluation of training looked different between each flight application, even across the same airline. Participants expressed the belief that staff rarely looked at and understood proof of training. The result was a lack of consistent logic behind and enforcement of airline access, and very little clarity around what an acceptable standard of non-GAD assistance dog training for air travel looks like in Queensland.
Ease of accessibility was the second emerging theme. It can be complicated for assistance dog handlers due to additional documentation requirements. This application process is often invasive and lacks clarity, causing significant delays to access. More so, airlines can abruptly demand expensive public access tests and certification from vets or doctors to prove that your assistance dog is fit to fly, adding to the financial burden. The problem also lies in inconsistent standards of treatment across airlines. As such, handlers are often limited to two airlines that have less requirements than others. For instance,
from what I've heard, you wouldn't even attempt to fly with Airline B because they just discriminate quite openly about assistance dogs, unless they're under the legislation of Queensland.
Limited airline choices and costly application processes position flying as a difficult and sometimes distressing experience for handlers, posing key barriers to access.
Another theme explored was perception of assistant dogs by staff. A failure of airport staff to understand the legal rights of assistant dogs caused significant delays. Staff members were unaware of fundamental laws, such as that which grants assistant dogs the right to travel alongside its handlers. The result was a stressful experience for the handler, who found themselves having to advocate for their rights on the spot in response to inconsistent or invalidating treatment. One participant shared that despite providing all the necessary documentation, airline staff still questioned the legitimacy of their assistant dog, causing unnecessary difficulties. This highlights the importance of proper training and education for the staff to ensure they fully understand assistant dog rights and legal protections.
But they're still not letting me on flights. After doing all that, they're still saying it's not enough information.
Our research reviewed several areas of change. Instead of upholding handlers' access rights, airlines restrict them. They were frequently unaware of the realities of training accessibility as incompatible with existing access requirements. A lot of pre-flight work paper is required, and any mistakes or errors in providing it can cause flight denials without any form of responsibility on the airline's end. Participants generally noted that there is a lack of awareness among the airline staff about the purpose of and formalities around assistant dogs, causing unnecessary and exhausting discussion with decision-making staff. To address such matters, consultation of handlers is essential in moving forward. Our findings hint at greater support for training organizations, clarity in the application process, improved staff training, and federal standardization for access regulations is needed.